with questions.
All right, I asked this just earlier. Talk about having new kind of running backs, having confidence in their offensive line. How do you build that trust between running back and offensive line?
Just time and putting the work in. Like I think that's big. You had the 15 practices in the spring where you take that first step, but there's like no secret, there's no shortcut. There's no magic. It's just putting the time in, the work in, spending time together this summer. And then obviously fall camp will be a huge piece of that as well.
Have you seen those steps? Have you seen the running backs have more confidence in the linemen?
Well, absolutely. I mean, just you see the growth and development, and obviously with Adam, get some snaps even against Texas. Like that's a big deal. He went out there in a game and he did it. And then you get the 15 practices in the spring, and then you got fall camp to keep building that cohesion.
Veteran group this year. How does all those returning snaps kind of give you confidence for the next year?
Yeah, I think anytime there's no substitute for experience. So when you have a collective group of guys that played a lot, not only does it make them better, it also makes the guys that are coming better, and they get to see those things. But I think the biggest thing for us is just putting the work in and just trying to develop. You want to develop competition at every single position. That's the goal. Like even the two older tackles, you want them to be pushed by the young guys, and I just think that's huge to keep creating that competition. And I'm excited about it. Like I felt like we took a good first step last year, but now we got to continue to build on that and just have put the work in. That's what it's going to take.
How are you feeling about the overall health? I know this spring you guys were mixing and matching some of the younger guys to get some older guys rest. How they
Everybody's back. I think maybe Ronan O'Connell had a back. I think he's the only guy that's not like full speed out there, but everybody else.
And Ronan, do you expect back in fall camp?
I think he'll be back like individual drills, but I think as far as contact, with back you got to be careful. Right. But I think everybody else is full speed. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely does.
How do you feel? Bringing back what's a guy like Walker Parks do for this room? Having a 6-year back, right?
Walker's awesome. I mean, there's a certain level of accountability that he demands. And him being around a while, he's played around. I think the guys respect him. They respect his work ethic, all the things that he's been through, all the injuries he's had to overcome. Like he's invaluable to our room, and just really, he's played a lot of spots for us. Tackle, guard. He's even taken some snaps at center in practice. So he's a guy that can truly play all 5 spots. But as a guy that, from an accountability standpoint, I really lean on. Because obviously you want to have, it's my job to hold them accountable. When the players hold each other accountable, it's even better. So I think he is truly a leader, and has a lot of experience, and the guys respect him.
Any question about Collin, whether he can stay healthy?
Well, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think he's a guy that's got a lot of ability, and just excited about him. I think maybe right before the NC State game, is when he got hurt. So a lot, he's a guy that I think can play a bunch of different spots for us as well. He probably play 4 different positions, both guards, both tackles. He's got really good athleticism, and I'm really excited about it. Like you don't worry about the injuries. It's a part of football. I think everybody goes through it at one time or another. So I don't think that's unique to Collin. I think that's just football. I think injuries are part of the game. But really excited about fall camp and getting him back out there and getting after it, because he's certainly worked really hard this summer.
How big was it? Tristan and Blake to retain those two?
Yeah, I think that's huge. I just think that's a credit to Coach Sweeney and the culture. And I think you have all these people all around the country that are worried about keeping all these different guys. I just think it's a credit to Coach Sweeney and our culture that that really wasn't ever a question. And I think they wanted to come back and they have something to prove, and felt like, again, just us as a unit. I felt like we took a great first step last year, and now we have to go put the work in and build on that.
I think this time last year you were really impressed with Elyjah Thurmon, what he did in his first spring. fast forward this year, who are some of the freshmen this time around that you were really impressed by this spring?
Yeah, I think we had, with all those guys come, with the exception of Tucker, all those guys were in spring practice, and I think they all showed flashes. And so you just don't ever want to say too much early about a freshman, but we certainly have some talented young players, and I want those guys to have a competitive mindset to go in and challenge. Because they didn't come here to sit on the bench; they came here to play. And but they're obviously with offensive linemen especially, there's a progression. But I do want those guys to have that mindset to come in and challenge.
How do you think the confidence has come for Ryan Linthicum? This time last year had never started a game. Now he started all 14 last year. Where do you think he's at? As he approaches his last year.
I think there is a certain level of confidence there. Just even with him, the way he's walking around, he's changed his body. He looks totally different. And he played more snaps than anybody else on our offensive line last year. So I think with that comes a level of confidence, and I'm excited to see him build on that.
How much is the flexibility you have at guard with so many options? How much of a luxury is that?
I think it is. I think it's a good thing. But what I want to see is competition. I think everybody talks about depth, but one thing depth does provide is competition. And when you know if you go out there and have a bad day, somebody's going to take your spot. That makes you practice a little bit better. And I think everybody thinks about depth and like it's a long season and guys get hurt. You need to have guys that can step in. I'm more thinking about it day to day. Like competition creates, a healthy competition makes your whole team better. And so I'm looking forward to the competitions and guys pushing each other and holding each other accountable and making each other better. And then obviously toward the end of the season, when you get into the playoffs and it's a long season, like you have guys that can step in and you're not having to mix and match and move guys around because it is a long season. So you just want to create that depth.
Do you have an ideal number in mind for that depth? To be able to
you want to have 15 if you can. But I would say, typically if you got 8 or 9 guys that have a legitimate chance, that's pretty good. I don't know that I've ever had 10, guys where you just know you feel great about. But just trying to create that depth, I think is huge. But I would say 8 or 9, if you guys you feel good about, you feel comfortable.
Into that 8 or 9, do you feel like whether it's like I have maybe 5, but
Yeah, I don't know. That's always a work in progress. So you don't want to put a number on that. But you do have you had spring practice to kind of work toward that, and then you got all fall camp to just keep building it. You want to try to get that number as high as you can.
For Tristan, what is the next level maximizing his potential look like?
Just putting the work in. I think he had a good year, and he was really kind of battling that ankle injury last year, especially the last 3 or 4 games, probably playing 60%, just out there battling. But just putting the work in. I think building on the foundation that we started with last year. There are no shortcuts. There's no magic. You just got to go put the work in. And I think that's what we have to do as a whole, especially my unit. You just got to go put the work in. We have a vision of what we want it to look like, and then trying to make that vision come to life on the field. That's what when we walk on the field, we want it to look a certain way, and we got to go put the work in to make that vision come to life on the field.
Who are the options behind Ryan at center that you want to use to kind of create competition?
Yeah, Harris Sewell has played a lot, and I feel very comfortable with him snapping. He's also played a bunch of guard, which at guard you have to be super physical. So when you move him into center, it gives you some size and some strength in there. So I feel really good about Harris. That would probably be the next option right away. And we'll want Harris to get in there and get some snaps at guard, but also to push Ryan at center. Because there's no given spots. I want Brayden and Elyjah to put to push Tristan and Blake. I want those guys. I want Collin Sadler. He's going to play some guard, but obviously he's going to be working some tackle too. So that's the challenge. Is okay. We got to create a cohesive unit, but we also want to create some competition, and that makes everybody better.
What did you see out of Brayden in the spring?
I think his size. That's the, when you walk out there, like that's kind of like everybody sees it. Well, that's kind of a big deal. Like he's a big guy that can move. But I just think there's a lot of work to be done, just as far as technique and footwork. And sometimes you, as a bigger guy, that's really athletic, you can get away with some things. But creating that the footwork and the technique and being very finite on those little things, I think he'll just keep getting better and better. And then obviously the speed of the game. You know, I thought Coach Sweeney did a really good job putting him against, you know, Peter and TJ, and him going out there and being challenged early. It's a challenge, but it also gives you confidence. Like, okay, I can do this. So I think he's got a bright future ahead of
Are you
him.
expecting to see a significant playing time this year?
That's too early to tell. I mean, I'm gonna put him out there and put him in those situations and see how he does. But he's still got to go earn it. You don't give anything to anybody. He's got to go earn it. And obviously there's a lot of work to do there. But I'm excited about the future for him.
Where's the fine line, or is there even a fine line on you want to create the competition, particularly like you've got a lot of guys at guard that you can roll out there, wanting to have a group in place for that first game where there's some continuity?
Yeah, well, that's the challenge. But that's the good thing about having experienced guys is we got a pretty close-knit unit. And I feel we talk about not being five pennies, but one nickel, being together and being a cohesive unit. And that's what we spend all of fall camp doing, is creating that cohesion.
We just had Ryan Linthicum last year. What's kind of the next step for him?
Yeah, I think the strength of Ryan's game, he's very, very cerebral. He can process information, and he's very confident. So when he communicates, he's confident, and he makes those guys feel very comfortable with how he communicates. Now I want to see him take the next step from a physicality standpoint, and just from an overall just finishing blocks. He's changed his body, so when you see him, he's going to look different. And so we've worked really, really hard on his nutrition, all the little things, so him to take that next step. But it's kind of the same thing across the O-line. Like, okay, like we took a good first step. Now let's build on. Let's add to it. Let's go put the work in. And again, try to make that vision that we have, what we want it to look like, come to life on the field.
Is that something that you like to challenge him on the nutrition, changing his body? Is that something you saw on tape or?
No, that's something we've been working on since the first spring game, and so I think it's all. But it's not just Ryan. That's everybody. So that everybody's working on. There's a direct correlation between your body composition and performance on the field, and so that's But we have a great job in the weight room. Our nutritionist Megan, like we do a really, really good job there. But there's certainly been a focus on that for us.
You stepped away from coaching back in 2021, decided to come back a few years later. How's your work-life balance been at Clemson? How's it kind of helped you with your job, with the culture that's kind of created here?
Yeah, I think anytime like you step away, it gives you a unique perspective, and the things that you miss, and obviously the time that you get to spend with family, and you value the time. So not about the quantity of the time, but the quality of the time that you have with your family. And so I think that's you're very, very intentional about that, because you know that. And obviously this place is built on family, and the family always being around, and it's welcomed. And I think that culture certainly makes it special for my family.
I'm assuming Elyjah's full go, has been able to participate in everything.
Yeah, this summer he has. He was not in the spring. He was able to do some individual stuff toward the end of spring, but he was not live contact. But he's been full go this summer. When we start, he'll be ready to roll.
Is that a big relief given how gruesome that injury looked at first?
Yeah, I mean that was tough, man. Especially going out there and the way he performed against Virginia Tech in his first game ever. Like, I mean, he did really, really well. And then the first play, you go out there and suffer an injury like that. Like, again, mentally that'll be the challenge for him. I think physically he's going to be ready to go, but it'll take him a while mentally. Just okay, hey, there'll be one play where he goes out there and has to plant or has to brace, and then he feels like, okay, I'm good to go. So trying to get over that mental hurdle, early in fall camp will be big.
All those practices you guys are doing against probably one of the better defenses in the country. Talk about the pride that you see you guys really stepping up and facing that challenge.
Yeah, I mean that's part of why you do what you do is to have those guys, come off the field with that confidence and that belief, and I really think that's not only this year, but like to me, that's why Clemson has been able to perform well in the national championship games against Alabama. Is because who you practice against every day. Like that's you only get to play 16, 17 games, but you're practicing every day, and who you practice against matters. And when those guys go on the field against LSU, like they've gone against Peter Woods, they've gone against TJ Parker, they've gone against Cuddy. Like they've been challenged, they've been put in the fire. So I think that gives them confidence, because it's really who you practice against really matters as far as your confidence, your belief, and the speed of the game. You don't want to go out there and get shocked. So I think going against a defense like ours, I think is very important.
Does it change the way you coach when you see now you're playing against these guys? Does it change the way you have confidence in your
I don't think it changes it, but I think this game is played at a certain speed, especially at a championship level. I know I've said the word vision a lot, but there's a certain way it's supposed to look. And when you go against great players, you see it look a certain way, and that's the challenge when you go against great players. But I think it does give you confidence to know, hey, if I can go win a one-on-one pass rush versus TJ, then I can go out there and do it in the game.
So you've done this a long time. What do you think the potential of this O-line is as far as compared to some of the better O-lines?
Yeah, I think that's tough to compare it to it, because every year is different.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm excited about the experience that we have. But again, we got to go put the work in. That's the challenge. It's like last year doesn't matter. The fact you're a senior doesn't matter. Every snap you've ever played before, yeah, it's good to have that experience, but we still got to go put the work in, and we got to go do it. So that'll be the challenge.
Well, you think the potential is there?
I do, absolutely.
Cool. So hard last year with coming off, obviously, it was such an injured state. And
Yeah.
As an offensive line, you're trying to pass protect without really ready to play action.
Right.
Can you maybe just get some insight into?
Yeah, I think part of offense is trying to get the balls to your playmakers and getting the balls into the hands of your best players, and obviously that's what we were trying to do. I know that's not rocket science, but that was part of it, especially when one of your better players is injured. You're trying to protect him. But like I said, whatever we're called to do, we got to step up and do it. We don't want to make an excuse for anything. Whatever you're called to do, you go out there and you execute and you go do it. And sometimes you're going to have to win running the ball. Sometimes you may have to throw it a little bit more. But whatever we're called to do, we want to be able to go out there and do it.
With some injury stuff, guys like Collin, I guess, and Tristan, how are they right now and ready to go for camp?
Yeah, everybody's ready to roll. So they weren't in spring practice,
right?
So you didn't see them much, but they're full go right now in summer workouts, summer conditioning, and we'll be ready to roll unless something happens between now and then. They'll be full go day one.
Ian too.
Ian will be back, I believe, full speed. He's just coming back from that knee and trying to get his body right, but I think he'll be ready to roll.
Quarterbacks, the line's not going to usually get the headlines. Does a veteran group here, do they kind of, you think they're going to take that ownership of taking this offense?
I mean, yeah, I think any offensive line would take pride in trying to elevate the performance, and I really feel like when we step on the field, we almost got half the offense. When you go out there, so I think you have to take pride in that, and especially with an experienced group, I think they will.
Who are some of the vocal guys that you're looking to on your line?
As far as vocal guys, Tristan and Walker, Ryan, they're all pretty vocal. Blake's pretty just kind of goes about his business and does things. But even Blake has really taken another step as far as just holding other guys accountable and being vocal. Because one thing you do is you have to be yourself. You can't go be somebody you're not. You lead through being yourself and just handling your business a certain way. And I think everybody's unique and different. But them being together for so long, coming together, that's what makes it special.
Does it help an offensive line to have tight ends who are excited about blocking?
Yeah, I mean, I just think us working together and like communicating in practice, in meetings, again, you have to create cohesion. You got to create that togetherness. And I believe the tight ends bought into that last year and will continue to do so.
It sounds like you have taken more of a instrumental role in sort of that creating that cohesion.
Well, I don't think it was anything about me. Like, it's just the way I've always done it. So I don't think that's anything that's different. But when you communicate, communication's huge. So we all have to be saying the same things. We all have to be communicating in the same way. When I say something, the tight ends have to they can't teach it one way here and one way here. Like, it all has to be together. So the more you communicate in the same meetings and the more you're on the field and they're hearing the same verbiage, it just takes away the gray area. You know what I mean? And that way they just go play and they're free and they're communicating and they're saying the same things to each other. I think that's very important.
I know you got camp to go through and everything, and things changed in those couple of weeks. But going into camp, I know last year you guys were sitting around 7-8 guys. Where do you think you're at now going into camp with the numbers?
Yeah, I don't have a specific number, and probably won't until we get into that game week. But I do think we'll have a chance to create some depth, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. Just creating depth and creating competition at the position. I mean, you'd love to have at least 8 or 9 going into the season that you feel good about. But to me, again, you create that competition, it makes everybody better. So you really want to push hard, try to get that number as high as we can.
Is there a date, like maybe after the second scrimmage, you'd like to have your starting 5 established?
Yeah, I mean that second scrimmage, that's really kind of the line where after that, and then you're starting to get ready for LSU. But we got to focus on ourselves. We got a lot of work to do between now and that second scrimmage. But certainly some questions will be answered by then.
In recruiting, you seem to strike serious, but also you're happy to be loose.
I'm sorry.
Like in recruiting, like you can be loose with guys sometimes. You're not always just straight serious. How do you kind of get to that mindset? Obviously, it's paid off, but how do you approach guys and show them you can be?
I mean, there's a. When you want to have a good time and you want to build those relationships and you want to build that connection, because what that does, that helps when you step on the field and it's time to go. Like, they know this guy cares about me. And to me, if you know somebody cares about you, you can coach them way, way harder. So the more connection you have, to me, the harder you're going to play for each other. And the more you know about each other, the harder you're going to play for each other. So I don't think that's anything that's unique. I just think that it just takes the time to build those relationships. Because in this day and age of way that the transfer portal and NIL, like, relationships still matter. It just does. And the more that you care about one another and the more that you build that camaraderie within the unit, I just think that's if there is a secret sauce, that's it.
How much do you embrace that recruiting months? It seems like we see photos of you all over, and how much does that recruiting sort of lifestyle work for you?
I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy meeting the families and building those relationships, and just I just think that's kind of why you do what you do. It's about relationships and helping these young men. They all got goals and dreams, and they want to reach a certain level, and really I'm just trying to help them get there, and I really enjoy that part of it.
What else?
Tristan Leigh, what do you think his ceiling is this year?
I think Tristan is a great young man. He's really, really improved and come a long way. And I think his ceiling is really high, especially if he makes the jump from when I got here to last year to now to the end of the season. I think he just got to keep putting the work in. And I think he does have a high ceiling.
thank you for your time. Coach.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yep. I'm done. Good.